Oh friend, lean close because this is soul work. The narcissist, that towering shell of ego and illusion. They never plan for your awakening. They don't even have a category for it. In their mind, you're a piece on the board. Silent, static, predictable. You don't leave, you orbit. You serve, you stay. That's the script they've been rehearsing since the day they spotted the glow of your heart and mistook it for weakness. But something sacred happens when you rise. When your spirit starts to tremble, not from fear, but from the sheer weight of your own worth waking up. When the lie cracks, and the light begins to pour in. That moment, that's not rebellion. That's redemption. The narcissist doesn't brace for that kind of storm, because they believe they are the storm. They think they hold the thunder. They think your silence is loyalty, and your tears are consent. But they've misunderstood you from the start. You weren't breaking. You were quietly, slowly, steadily, brick by brick, you were laying down the foundation of your escape. You see, the narcissist can't see past their own mirror. That's why your healing blinds them. That's why your enough feels like betrayal. Because it interrupts the worship. It's not just disobedience to them, it's blasphemy. But God help them, they don't know what to do when the altar falls. So when you stand up, not with fists, but with folded bags and a heart stitched back together by grace, that's not just an exit, that's an exodus. And you are not walking out empty-handed. You're walking out with your voice, your peace, your sacred no, and the knowledge that you were never theirs to begin with. And yes, they'll rage. They'll panic in poetry. How could you do this? After everything I've done for you. But hear me now. Those aren't regrets. That's control gasping for air. That's a tyrant watching their crown roll across the floor. You aren't cruel for leaving. You're courageous. You're not selfish. You're sanctified. Because your freedom, it's not a dagger, it's a declaration. So let the narcissist unravel. That unraveling is not yours to stop. It's the natural consequence of their illusion crumbling in the presence of your truth. Let them mourn the kingdom they built on your silence. Let them feel the absence of the power they siphoned from your love. And as you walk, don't look back. You're not escaping. You're returning. To yourself, to your calling, to the divine whisper that kept saying, this is not the end of your story. No, my friend, this is where your story finally begins. That's the sacred rupture, friend. That's when the veil rips straight down the middle, and the stage lights dim. No more costume. No more script. Just the creature behind the charm. Shaking, snarling, unraveling like thread on fire. And it'll stop your breath for a second. You'll see it. And you'll know deep in your bonus, this is who the narcissist really is when the spotlight cuts out. Not the polished performer who said all the right words over coffee. Not the poet of empty apologies. No. What stands before you now is the panic of a soul who just lost their favorite illusion, you. Because when your light slips out of their grip, it's not just a breakup. It's a blackout. You were their source, their mirror, their proof that they were still powerful. They weren't ready to lose that. They never are. The silence you leave behind, it screams louder than any confrontation. And inside, the narcissist knows it. See, they built their kingdom on your glow. They knew how to shadowbox with your wounds, knew how to twist your empathy like clay. But they never saw your awakening. They never thought the captive would break the chains. And when you did, when you walked not with rage but with clarity, it wasn't rebellion. It was resurrection. That's why they spiral. That's why they rage and beg and twist themselves into riddles, hoping you'll come back. Not because they miss you. No. Because they miss the control. They miss the feeding. They miss the version of you who doubted yourself just enough to stay. Let me speak straight to your spirit right now. You might be tempted to look back. That's natural. You're human. You've got compassion. And compassion wants to understand, to heal, to fix. But here met the narcissist's tears are not baptismal waters. They do not cleanse. They corrode. They're not cries of love. They're howls of hunger. You were never their beloved. You were their battery. And when you unplug, oh, they flail, they accuse, they promise, they threaten, anything to get you back on the leash. They don't want healing. They want the high of your pain. But here's the miracle. You don't owe them a single step backward. Let them pretend. Let them put on their next show, cast a new star, and wear their borrowed charm like a crown. It's all just theater. And while they perform, they're watching. Always watching. Because somewhere, in the silence they can't explain, they feel it. Your absence burning like holy fire. And you? You're not watching, you're walking. You're shedding shame like an old skin. You're relearning the sound of your own voice. You're remembering moments that used to feel like fog, and now, they feel like warnings you finally understand. That wasn't kindness. That wasn't love. That was control wrapped in charm. And when your soul finally whispers those truths, when you stop hoping the narcissist will change and start changing the way you see yourself, that's your deliverance. That's the moment the wilderness turns into a path. That's the day heaven touches the earth in your story. Because here's the holy truth. Your healing doesn't need their permission. Your peace doesn't wait for their understanding. You were never made to be someone's emotional oxygen. You were made to breathe free. Let them crave. Let them ache in the echo. Let them scroll and stalk and stew in the shadow of what they lost. You're not their fuel anymore. You're not their fix. You are the light they tried to dim, now rising, unbound.